Hello, and welcome to another episode of A Day in the District. I'm your host, Chelsea Whittington. A Day in the District is a program designed to help you, the viewer, stay connected to your Gary Community School Corporation. Before I introduce our special guest, I just want to congratulate the Westside Cougars on an amazing victory during homecoming. It was actually just a wide margin, I will say, of touchdowns and the final score. It was a big margin. Okay. And thank you to the community for coming out and supporting our young people in a major way. We encourage you to continue to follow us on social media and our website, garyschools.org, to get an update on all of our schools and all of the different activities that we have taking place in our school buildings. Speaking of which, this leads me to the introduction of our very special guest. I am so pleased to be joined by Lori Kuykendall. She is the Executive Director of the Gary Literacy Coalition, which is a great partner to the Gary Community School Corporation. Welcome, Lori.
Thank you, Chelsea. I'm very, very happy and excited to be here today.
I'm excited to have you for the simple fact that every time I see you, you know how we all wear our different hats in the community, and you have earned the title of like the literacy lady, bequeathed to you from the great Ira Twyman, who led the legacy, the Gary Literacy Foundation for 20 years. Yes. And so after taking the mantle a few years ago, you have continued in the tradition and the love of reading, and we know you to be a lover of books.
Yes.
But before we go there, who is Lori, and tell us a little bit about you?
Well, I am born and raised in Gary, Indiana, and a product of the Gary Community School Corporation.
Nice.
So I am paying it forward, to say, so to speak. What I got from the Gary Community School Corporation and what I got from being a resident of Gary, Indiana, I'm giving back to the residents that are here now and the children. So that legacy that we have of excellence and that legacy that we have of doing things and doing the right things, I want to play it forward.
Yes.
So that's why I'm here. My children are Gary School District children. I have 3 that have graduated. I have 4 that have graduated.
Nice.
And 1 that is in the district right now, still taking the opportunities that Gary Community School Corporation has. And also, my family has a strong history in being teachers. I come from a long line of teachers, and they all taught in the Gary schools.
I love that, and I love now that you are wearing 2 hats today, as a parent, and as a leader of literacy. And we often talk on this show about how critical parental involvement is, and I know you're an involved parent. Before we get into everything that GLC has coming up, can you talk to me about the importance of that? And I feel like it's a two-way street, Lori. You know, the schools need to reach out and let you know what the opportunities are, but at the same time, we want the parents to come on in.
Absolutely. Well, the whole thing about it is it's our community, and it takes a village to raise a kid. So it's not the school district's only job. It's our job too. And as a parent, I want to make sure that I'm supporting where my children are going, because they're shaping their future. And we're shaping everybody else's future too. So even if I didn't have children in the district, I think I would still support the school districts, because it supports the community. It supports who we are, what we have now, and what we'll have in the future.
Absolutely.
So it's very important for parents to be active in their education. There is a saying, you are your child's first best teacher.
Yes.
So before that child even gets into school, the parent is the one who starts that process of learning. So that is a natural partnership between schools and parents. I take it very seriously. We take it seriously with the Gary Literacy Coalition. So making sure that I'm doing my part.
Yes.
Everybody has a part.
Oh, how well said. I didn't want to get on my parental soapbox, but I can't help it in the fact that we need all of the different stakeholders to come to the table, and we've been working really hard to do that parental outreach through the apps that we use,
Yes.
through the website, through social media. We even do a good old-fashioned phone call and a letter and a knock on the door if need be, if there's a
Right.
truancy situation. But I'm just glad to know that you are so connected and in tune. So let's go back a couple of decades and talk to me about the very beginnings of Gary Literacy Coalition. There's a great story to
Oh,
that.
it is. Actually, Gary Literacy Coalition was started back in 2001 by Dr. Steve Simpson. He's a local pediatrician who saw the connection between reading and literacy, brain development, and the development of children. And so he initially brought in a program called Reach Out and Read.
Okay.
And the Reach Out and Read program, which the Gary Literacy Coalition has been a part of since 2001, is where local pediatricians use books in when they deliver their services to children. Because when a parent reads to a child and when a child is read to, it's not only for entertainment value, that's educational, brain development, speech development, and socialization.
Yes.
So for Dr. Simpson to recognize how integral all that was is just another example of villages raising children.
Absolutely.
At the doctor's office.
Shout out to my fellow Howard alum, Dr. Simpson. It just makes me think about when we were little, going to the doctor.
Yes.
Sitting in the doctor's office and sifting through the magazines, the highlights, whatever they had
Yes.
for children for us to read. And now with him making the connection, not only in the doctor's offices, but with the moms, pregnant
Yes.
moms, starting to read to their children while they're still in the womb.
Exactly.
It creates a love.
It creates a love, it creates a bond, and it sets that child up for a learning environment. So when every child goes in to see about a dozen pediatricians now in the Gary area, every well child visit, they get a book to take home. And this is from birth to age 5. Now the interesting thing
That's
is
almost a little library.
yes, that's one of the goals is to put a personal at-home library in the home, because if it's not in the home, then the children won't read the books. So we're kind of doing things layered. We're talking about it in connection with how you raise them, but then we're giving them the resources. So what I say now, you can also do. So the Reach Out and Read program is just one of the signature umbrella programs that the Gary Literacy Coalition does.
So
And that
we'll
is
keep going with that.
Yes.
That's why I had you on the show, because I need our viewers to know all of the layers and the ways that you are reaching out to the community. So I'm going to tell them something real quick. You're watching A Day in the District, a show designed to help you, the viewer, stay connected to your Gary Community School Corporation and its partners like Lori over at Gary Literacy Coalition. When we come back, we'll find out more about the organization and we'll find out what is Lori reading right now. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life.
It's gross. I don't really want to talk about it. She didn't want to at first, but I mean, it's no big deal. Everybody does it.
I was ready, totally ready, because we had been practicing this dance for weeks.
He was supposed to take this girl to this dance, but
I sprained my ankle at track practice.
I hate sharing anything personal. It's so disgusting.
For the dance, I let her wear my shoes and she hated it, but I thought she looked great in them.
he could barely even walk.
I ended up taking some pills for my pain.
Yeah, they were my mom's, but
It didn't go well.
If it's not yours,
If it's not yours,
if it's not yours,
Hey you,
don't take it.
don't take it.
don't take it.
don't take it. You won't believe what happened next.
Welcome back to A Day in the District, and I'm still your host, Chelsea Whittington. Again, The Day in the District is this program that we have designed, and we are now in our third season of keeping you connected to your Gary Community School Corporation. Let's resume this conversation with Lori Kuykendall over at Gary Literacy Coalition. We talked about the illustrious history and the start with Dr. Simpson, of course, the legacy of Ira Twyman, and then we were going to talk more about the other outreach programs beyond Reach Out and Read. The floor is yours.
All right, well, we do have the Reach Out and Read program, and just to add on to that, it started out being 0 to age 5. Mm-hmm. Children got used to getting books. So when they got to be in kindergarten and first and second grade, they were still asking, where are the books?
Right.
So now Gary Literacy also gives books to the pediatricians so that children continue to get the books up into 8th grade.
I love it.
Up into 8th
what
grade.
A great tactic to help parents.
Yes.
To continue and make reading a habit. You and I well know, yes, Lori, how times have changed from that nice smell of the creases of the pages and opening a book to devices.
Yes.
And scrolling.
Yes.
And emailing and texting and social media. And so what do we do to make them still, well, you're talking about things that we can do to help them to embrace that love that we know so well of just being able to read properly, obviously, but having a good book to hold and read?
Well, we do several things to make sure that we're getting books into the hands of our students. And people talk about ebooks and everything, and those are possibilities. But again, there's just something about the process, and that is integral to whatever you do, is the process to getting there. And part of that process is having that book at hand.
Yes.
So the Gary Literacy Coalition, one of the things that we do is we make sure that we're getting those books into the hands of our Gary citizens. So we go to wherever people are, and then we work with organizations, non-for-profits, that also have a literacy awareness with them. So if you're a school or a daycare or an organization and you value literacy and reading and empowering people, then that's what the Gary Literacy Coalition is going to be at. And we do that in several ways. We promote what you're doing.
Yes.
We also give books to what you're doing. And sometimes we actually come in as active partners to help you put on.
Sometimes you do that all the time, Lori. We see you everywhere.
Actually come out and get our hands, so to speak, in with what's going on in the community. So we do the community book drives. We also sponsor national reads, and that's something that we do have coming up now. We have, for the past over 15 years, participated in Jumpstart Read for the Record, which is a national initiative which helps to get children pre-K through first grade in with readers. So the book is always about a social concept or about something that we want to cultivate in our children. But in addition to that, kids get a chance to have somebody other than their teachers read to them. So we get over 40 volunteers to come in with us to the Gary Community School Corporations, and this is happening October 26th.
Yes, and it's one of the reasons that I wanted to get you on the show so early. I get a barrage of questions. First one being, how can I volunteer in the Gary schools? You know, post-COVID, we had to rearrange some things and help people to understand that our school doors are now open. However, there are background checks and things of that nature. We just can't open the door and have people just coming into the classrooms. And so this is a great opportunity for you to go ahead, for those who want to volunteer in the schools, to visit GarySchools.org, get the background check done. So when it's time to read, it's like, I'll give the Gary Literacy Coalition a call, or I can give the school a call and say, not only do I want to read on October 26th, but I want to be a regular reader to students in the Gary schools. It's just that easy, right, Lori?
It is. It really is just that easy. And so we're always looking for volunteers. And even if I'm not initiating or supervising a national read, I am a linkage. So there are a lot of schools and a lot of organizations that say, hey, I want to do something. Do you have readers? Well, if I got you on my roster, when opportunities come out, you can see an email from me or a phone call from me saying, this place needs a reader, this class needs a reader, and we try to connect the resources. So literacy, we're the linkage.
Yes, and I love the fact too that For those who have just tuned in, Gary Literacy Coalition does not just service books for our children.
Right.
We have adults
Yes.
who read and love to read. So in addition to the volunteer aspect, can you talk to me about the availability of books for our adults in the community?
Well, I have lots of books because everybody has a different taste. Now, I can't get enough books in for everything that everybody is reading, but when someone gives me a suggestion, then I try to get in books that meet the needs of the community as I are talking to them. But I do have books for adults. So if you're an adult and you want to get reading material, this also helps as you are going through life. Learning doesn't stop when school is over.
Absolutely.
And that includes adults too. So if you're graduated from high school or college or whatever, it is still behooves you to continue to put into yourself. And one way you do that is through reading.
You know, Lori, I will add that there are members of our population who may be illiterate, may not be as strong a reader as they would like. Yes. So they happen sometimes to shy away from, Mommy, read to me. And it's like, wait. I feel like the Gary Literacy Coalition, once again, is a resource that they can get these books, reading out loud, back and forth, having the child read to them. It strengthens their skills as well. What do you think?
Yeah. Anyone reading at least 30 minutes a day, you strengthen your skills, whether it's a child or an adult. So if you're an adult and you're struggling with wanting to read better or be a stronger reader, just like you do everything else, practice makes better.
Yes.
So read. If it's a magazine, if it's your children's school books, if it's the newspaper, get a book, sit down, and read it at least 30 minutes a day. I guarantee you, if you do that over a period of time, you're going to become a better reader.
That's the literacy lady talking. The other piece before we close out this segment, I told you these conversations go so quickly, but you also remind us that our senior population has this need as far as strengthening and keeping their reading skills sharp for prescriptions and the things they need to know as we continue to season and age. 30 seconds, talk about that.
Well, especially in our older adults, reading helps to keep your mind sharp. So it helps to offset memory loss, dementia, and your skills. Plus, it's also good for stress relief, and it's also good to get away in a good book. Sometimes seniors are in homes or they're at home or they're in places where they don't always get contact, but the book
takes them away.
Takes them away.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're really going to find out what Lori is reading and how you can get involved with the Gary Literacy Coalition. Stay right there.
When you join the Army, the first thing they teach you is how to get in line. Not exactly the same in high school. When I enrolled in Westside Leadership Academy and joined ROTC, the first thing I learned was respect. Not just for God and country, but for myself.
Gary Schools, strong, resilient, built for education.
I said I'd never join.
Thought living on a sub would be too hard.
I figured only the weatherman track storms.
I said my job wouldn't matter.
Never knew how strong I was. I never thought this would be my commute.
I figured I'd never get out of my hometown.
Or be the one who stops an attack.
Joining the Navy sounds crazy. Saying never actually is.
Welcome back to the final segment of A Day in the District, and today we are talking all things literacy. I love chatting it up with my friend and colleague Lori Kuykendall of the Gary Literacy Coalition. Lori, what's on your reading list?
Everything, because I read books that come in the office. So when people come out and they say, was this a good book? I want to be able to tell them, yes.
Okay.
And then I want to know that what I'm bringing in and out to the community is a good book. So I read everything. Personally, I love autobiographies.
Okay.
So I've read Viola Davis. I've got Tiger Woods on my table.
Are you going to get the Kerry
Williams.
Washington book?
You know what? I haven't seen it, but I will look for it.
Yes, she just announced it earlier this week. And sorry if this is taken away from her thunder or breaking the news, but she found out that her parents were not her dad is not her dad.
Oh, wow.
And because she wanted to go on the show where they traced the roots, and she talked to her family about it, and they were like, hold up. But it was out of love that they hadn't told her, but now she has the book out. So
well, that'll be on my list.
That'll be on your list.
That'll be on my list.
I added value. Me of all folks, I have a stack of books, as we talked off camera, Lori. And I promise right here on this set right now to do better in finishing the books that I've started, from all my Michelle Obama books. But I love to grab excerpts. There's no harm in like going to a chapter and getting, some motivation. But I think reading from cover to cover is the best way to go when it comes to strengthening your leadership skills and just being enriched by the book itself.
Absolutely. I'm still reading this book. If you all are familiar with Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry.
Yes.
There is a continuation of the story when Cassie becomes an adult. I am reading that right now, and it is All of Our Days.
Okay.
And I do have that book as one of the books that we are giving out at our community book gifts. So if you've read Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry,
it's time for the sequel.
It's time for the sequel.
Well, let me say this, because somebody's watching right now and they're like, aha, I have tons of books in my basement that I'm getting ready to donate. Slow your roll.
Right. Exactly. Now, the Gary Literacy Coalition, what we do is we only give out new books.
Okay.
We feel that's a value to the families in our community because some of them have to make a choice between getting some things and having something. And it's just something about a new book that adds value to it. So we only give out brand new books. We do not take donations for gently used books through our organization. And by that time, though storage space is limited, we wouldn't have places to keep all the books that we have.
I just wanted you to say it, but you can donate, not books, but you can donate. And there are a series of ways that they can do this. You have a fundraiser coming up. Let's talk about that. And then let's just talk about people generally giving, because people look for great things that they can give to and they can see their return on investment. This is it.
Yes. Well, our fundraiser, mark your calendars for November 15th at the Hard Rock Casino at 6 p.m. We will be having our annual Philanthropist Thrust, and it is celebrating the legacy of literacy. Okay. So it's dinner and dancing, and an overview of why the Gary Literacy Coalition needs support from the community, and that is to support all of our umbrella programs and continue to get books and programs, literacy opportunity, and literacy awareness into the community.
I love it, and I will be there. What's that date again?
November 15th, 6 p.m., the Hard Rock Casino.
Okay. Well, for those who feel like, oh, I'm not going to a casino, they have a separate entrance for their event venue. So, people sometimes say, I don't want to mix that, but this is for a great cause, and I know Hard Rock to have been or continue to be a great community supporter of our nonprofit organizations.
Yes.
Now, where do we call? Where do we send our checks? What do we do?
Well, if you would like to attend, then as always, you can go through our website. There'll be a link coming up very soon where you can go right on, hit that link, takes you right to our registration page, and you can do it all online.
What's that website?
GaryLiteracyCoalition.org.
Nice.
You can also look for details on our Facebook page, and you can also just call our office, and that's area code 219-885-2229.
I know it well. I love it. I told you I am a fan of the Gary Literacy Coalition. So let's talk one more time about Read for the Record.
Right.
Because what's the book we're reading again?
The book for Read for the Record this year is called Lots of Love, and it's about a little girl named Rocio who is missing her family back in Mexico. It's a wonderful story. It's very heartwarming. and it's a good read, as always with Jumpstart. So this is the book that volunteers will be reading. Now, if you're interested in supporting the Gary Literacy Coalition in other ways besides your monetary support, you can also be one of our volunteer readers. As we go throughout the community reading to young children, we need readers that want to come out and read. I'm one person. Even if I have Miss Chelsea, we still need a large number of people. This year, we'll be reading to all of the Gary schools, Gary elementary schools, pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade. That's over 50 classes.
Yes.
So we need about 50 volunteers.
Okay.
We take an hour out of the school day from 9:30 to 10:30 on October 26th to read. So if you're interested in being a volunteer, then just call the office, area code 219-885-2229, or send me an email, glc720@sbcglobal.net, and let me know if you're interested in being a reader. We also have another read that comes up in March. It is Read Across America, where we go into all of the schools in the city of Gary, and we read to kindergarten and first grade classes as well. And the great thing about Jumpstart Read from the Record, because of generous donations from supporters, our corporate supporters, and everyone else, every child that is read to goes home with this book.
I love it.
And
I
so-
love it. I have an idea now, right here on the show, right here on the set. This is just so spontaneous. But I'd love to extend the invitation to you, Lori, to come out. Each month we have our community meetings and our school board meetings. I feel like that's another great platform where parents and community members come, and we're going to start helping you get those readers signed up at these meetings. You said you wanted to get involved. Here is your opportunity. Real quick, Lori, one more time, the contact information for the Gary Literacy Coalition.
Okay, Gary Literacy Coalition, phone number, area code 219-885-2229. Email us at glc720@sbcglobal.net. Check us out on Facebook and give us your contact information there. Also, check our website out. There's a button on there where you can leave your information if you'd like to volunteer that way also. Again,
Lori, thank you. I'm just listening and I'm smiling as we wrap up another great show, A Day in the District. Reading is everything. It's the foundation for everything we do.
Yes,
so
it is.
we ask that you follow Lori and visit the Gary schools to find out more about all of the great programs we provide to our scholars in the Gary Community School Corporation. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. WSTG